What's up YouTube, Zabas of the Water here, bringing you a battle with my monocolor orange Little Cup team. Today, my opponent, we actually had one battle prior to this, but we got disconnected for some reason, so we had to redo it. And we're not talking about disconnected right at the beginning, where we can just choose to repeat our moves. This happened about halfway into the battle. So looking at my opponent's team, possible threats include Poniard, Frillish, Magnemite, Poniard because it's probably a Swords Dance set, Frillish because that's obviously a wall, Magnemite because it has such high special attack, it also can be a Steel Trapper, and it can be Scarfed, or it can be Sturdy, there's really no way of telling. And finally, one more Pokemon that concerns me a little bit is that Surskit. Surskits aren't exactly the best, considering they have modest speed and modest attack. However, when you give it a Life Orb and moves like Hydro Pump, it becomes a very big threat very quickly. But enough with the details, let's get to the battle! So my opponent today is GeorgeJollyWeavile, who I met on Skype, and, well, we set up the battle through Skype. And he's going to start off with his Frank, his Magnemite, as I start off with my Buzzard. Now, we actually had a battle before this, which was pretty good. It ended up in a DC, well, not disconnect, but, for some reason, the Wi-Fi just crapped out. But anyway, I go for the U-turn because I wasn't able to see what kind of set he was, if he was Magnet Pull or if he was Sturdy, so I didn't want to risk the Earthquake if he was Sturdy. So I switch into my Baguette to take the Volt Switch. He switches into his Blitz. With the Volt Switch, I go into my Georgina. Since he went into his Growlithe, he goes for the Flare Blitz. I take it really well. I go for the Stealth Rock on his switch into Baltoy. And now he's going to set up his own Stealth Rocks while I go for the U-turn. Wow, that was a lot of catching up to do. So I'm going to bring back my Georgina, go into my Baguette again because I want to get rid of this thing. I can't let it set up rocks anymore. I can't let it rapid spin after this. I mean, I can set up my rocks again and I can spin away his hazards again, but first off, he needs to get out of the picture. So he's going to switch into his Ranger, his Poniard, as I go for the Synthesis, predicting him to really just stay in and wait off the sleep turns. However, he goes for Swords Dance, I'm like, no, not going to happen. I go for the knockoff, I knock off his Eviolite, which is going to be key later. As he goes for the Iron Head, I survive, I go for the Seed Bomb, and I guess predicting my switch or Synthesis, he goes for another Swords Dance, but nope, I just want to get off as much damage as possible. I'm going to go for another Seed Bomb, and without Eviolite, it's doing a fair amount of damage. He goes for the Brick Break, predicting my switch, but once again, I'm not going to switch, I just need that thing dead. So he saw that this was a special Weasel before, so he actually goes for the Sucker Punch as I go for the Aqua Jet. Now, yes, this is a special Weasel, however, it does carry the Aqua Jet for some priority, which means his Sucker Punch is going to fail. I'm going to be able to knock it out with 2 Aqua Jets, and that is the end of Poniard, one of the premier threats of his team. So he goes into his Frank, his Magnemite, which pretty much confirms the Scarf. Then again, I wasn't really doubting it, and goes for the Volt Switch as I switch into my Georgina, which is pretty much the only thing that wants to get knocked out. He goes into his Surskit, goes for the Signal Beam, which I was hoping I could take, but come on, I was at 3 HP. And this next move is critical. I send out my Shelled Gas because I knew I could take a Giga Drain, even if it was modest, but he gets a crit. Here's some calcs. That crit definitely mattered. If he didn't get a crit, he had a 6.25 chance of actually knocking me out with Giga Drain. It had to be absolute max damage, even after rocks. And you know what? That just completely threw off my game, because he goes into his Baltoys, I go into my Buzzard. I can't spin away the rocks now. And now I'm going to set up some spikes just because at this point, I'm completely, like, I'm not thinking straight. I'm so angry that that crit happened. And I just can't, once again, I can't believe that happened because that was unbelievably key because now my Buzzard can't come in and just attack all it wants and it can't switch out. So I'm going to keep going for the spikes. As he goes into his Surskit, goes for the Signal Beam, I go for the Rock Blast, which is going to thankfully KO it. And now he goes into his Baltoy. And again, I'm not thinking clearly. I decide to switch out into my Buzzard to take the Rapid Spin and get more Stealth Rock damage, which was not smart. Because I was just thinking, you know what, with all the crap that's happened to me, no, you're not getting the Rapid Spin KO. And that was just stupid of me. Because now I go for the U-turn, it does some damage. And switch into my Ron just to die to the rocks. He goes for Psychic. Now I'm going to send in my Jelly, my Weasel, and here I really just praying he would switch out, and he does. He switches into his Magnemite. I go for the Rain Dance, which means I can definitely outspeed now because I am Swift Swim, not Water Veil. So I don't care if I wouldn't care if I get burned anyway. So I go for the Hydro Pump. It doesn't matter. Now, revenge. Sweet, sweet revenge. I get a critical hit on the HP Electric, and that just completely made my day, because it's like Hax4Hax, absolutely beautiful. I needed that. So he sends out his ball toy. I go for the Aqua Jet because I didn't want him risk missing the Hydro Pump. Now he's going to send out his Growlithe. I go for the Hydro Pump because I'm pretty sure an Aqua Jet won't knock it out. And this is just beautiful. He sends out his Frank, his Magnemite. I know I'm not going to be able to survive, so I go for the Aqua Jet. Does a really good amount of damage. He goes for the T-Bolt, knocks me out, and now I have the game because I can switch into my Buzzard, my Archon, go for the EQ, and knock out his Magnemite. So that is good game. Those 2 points of hacks were definitely game-changing, no doubt about it. So let's get to the talk of the day. Today's talk of the day, I want to apologize for this recent gap in uploads. My area got hit by rolling thunderstorms this weekend, and it pretty much caused rolling blackouts for my area, so I couldn't really work on the videos reliably without risking losing a bunch of my work. So yeah, that's just what was going on there. That's really all I have to say for this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, so I will see you guys next time. Like that video? Why don't you hit the like button or maybe subscribe to my channel? Or better yet, check out the artists who make this all possible.